Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our abundance reading. Today is our day 133. We're continuing on our expert secrets by Russell Brunson, the founder of ClickFunnels. And we are on the number 6, secret number 6. Today is a little bit late. What a poor day. Today is a Saturday, actually. And me helped the kids and their dad and other DOT. Oh, hold on one moment. I almost forgot. We have the live streaming on the YouTube channel. Let me quickly get this onto our playlist. So no matter who is watching it, watching the YouTube channel now, they could get this right away. Put this into our list. So thank you for your patience. And today, wow, this we just invited the New York Department of Transportation and Safety Education representative, Mr. Omar about this. Oh gosh, the last name. It's my fault. Normally, I'm so difficult to remember his last name. And he did a great presentation, and the kids and their dad, as a lawyer, they're all from their angle, right? Have a host, have a youth presenter on the biking safety. And it's a great event. But me, as I feel like I'm the director, back end, behind the scene, right? Just like a filming movie director. But you handle everything from the hosts, presentation, to the presenters, the youth leaders presentation. I all like need to review and give them feedback and help them to update, right? And to just like coach them and guide them. My daughter called me, I'm a mom coach, and definitely it's like a mom coach. And even their dad, a lawyer, I need to coach him. I'm supporting him even on how to use Zoom, some functions, how to change a virtual background, how to share screen like that. And then finally, when we get to time, this evening time, 8 p.m., and the partners, quite a few partners, they did not get the good technical support, and their Zoom could not be opened. That delayed us some time. So it's quite at the beginning, a little bit like say, wow, a little bit overwhelming. Because the things why you guys did not work out, right? Did not proactively set it up, things like that. But quickly, within 15 minutes, we figured that out, and then they gave us access. Finally, they allowed us into a Zoom, right? And but then the rest of the events went great. The only pity is like because the beginning technical issue, maybe some people could not log in and they gave up. So we missed some audience. But overall, the presentation, the guest speakers, all wonderful, including kids' dad, kids, the youth leader, and also the host, all did great presentation. I just hope after they save that recording, they can share with more community members and can really benefit more families and youth. So that's oh my God, it's just like it's a great long day. And but we celebrate no matter what the challenges, right? All this kind of lessons, all these tests and challenges, and it's just like stretchings, all are great. Okay, and it's a great learning opportunity, great growth, and for everybody. So me as a director, I feel like thank God, we prayed and thanked God for let us accomplished this project. So that's like a totally philanthropy, global youth philanthropy project for nonprofit. All right, so we let's get back to expert secrets. And by the way, I'm now this section 2 is about believing, remember? And so interesting. Now I'm wearing, see what kind of a t-shirt I'm wearing. I want to just quickly show you. This is actually from ClickFunnels, right? This is what they are talking about, the belief thing. And here, let me show you, okay? I will lift it up to read to you as well, so you can see what it's about. I really like this kind of shirt. Actually, I'm wearing it the back side front. And you see this side is actually front. The back now is actually front, like a funnel hacker. I'm not like not a fan of funnel hacker, but here, for this side, I love it more about the belief one. So surround yourself with the dreamers and doers. This could be my mask. Let me see. And the doers, let's see, the believers and thinkers. Let me see. But most of all, surround yourself with those who see the greatness within you. I have to lift up my tiptoes so you can see more, even when you don't see it yourself. And star. See that? The full picture. Let me see. Which side? A little confusing of left side, right side. Oh, that's because of virtual background. So now you see it, right? So funny. Okay, this side. Now I figured out. This is like a different direction. Ooh, I'm now like a cookie man. Okay, so very nice t-shirt, very comfortable, good quality. And thank you, Russell. Whenever we attend their Big Funnels funnel hacking annual live events, they give us, they distribute such kind of a t-shirt. So I remember I have a few. And then on one event last time, I gave that to some new ones to other friends. So now let's go back to secret number 6. These sections are all about believing. And yesterday we talked about the big domino. Right? Remember that the domino statement? In fact, that's why people only need believe that your new opportunity is the key to what they desire most, and is the only available vehicle through your specific vehicle. Okay, then all other objections and concerns become irrelevant, and they have to give you money. And now the Epiphany Bridge. The Epiphany Bridge. A few years ago, I helped a friend who was launching a new company. One of the guys working on the project wrote a script for a front-end sales video. The goal was to tell people into their new opportunity. After reading the script, I knew he made a huge mistake. He was trying to sell people on why they should join this new opportunity. Here's the email I sent him. Oh, by the way, I want to show you the picture. Epiphany. Let's see. Technical bubble. That's it. Okay, so here, this is a picture. You can see that. It's always like a little bit like left, right. Epiphany. This is Epiphany, and this is right. Emotion and logic. This is emotion. This is logic. If it's logic, you can see that cross. If it's logic, people give a rejection. But if it's emotion, people will love to cross this bridge, right? So it's fun. A few years ago, okay, so now here's the email he sent him. What I found is that if you just sell something, it's not as strong and doesn't create an emotion you need to really cause action. Remember, from emotion, only emotion, like the thinking changing. Let's say, which one starting first? Emotion actually drives the thinking, and thinking will take the action. If you want people to adopt a new concept and want to get them buy in, you have to lead them to the answer, but you can't give it to them. They have to come up with the idea themselves. You plant the idea in the minds with a story. Let me highlight this one. You plant the idea in their minds with a story. And believe that people are smart, okay? And you do not need the director to give them an answer. And they want to figure out the answer themselves. So if they come up with the answer, they will have sold themselves instead of you sell to them, okay? So if they come up with the answer, they will have sold themselves. The buying decision becomes theirs, not yours. That's right. When that happens, you don't have to sell them anything. That's wonderful. That's a secret of sales, actually. Most of people think, I need to persuade, I need them, make them to buy. You just like you're telling them, you should do this, you should do that this is so good for you. Like, right? It's just like pushing sales. But instead, you cannot give to them. Lead them to the answer. Okay, lead them to the answer, but you can't give it to them. That's quite an art, right? The sales art. Let's keep reading to see what it means. He wrote back, a little confused, and told me that my idea sounds like it came from the movie Inception, and asked me to take a shot at writing the sales script. I spent the next few hours writing an Epiphany Bridge script, which later helped that company acquire 1.5 million users. my coughs. I'm wondering, am I in the new COVID-19? My God. Oh, it's weather change. Okay. Later helped our company acquire 1.5 million users. That is the power of a story when you use it the right way. Story. So Russia spent a few hours write the Epiphany bridge script. Actually, it's a story. So what is an Epiphany bridge? It's simply a story that, that's a story, takes people through the emotional experience that got you excited about the new opportunity you are presenting to them. Okay. A story takes people through the emotional experience that get you, okay, emotional experience that get you excited about the new opportunity you are presenting to them. There is a reason you got excited about your new opportunity, right? Something happened to you at some point in your life. It's like aha, okay, it's either like aha or epiphany. You had an amazing experience that caused an epiphany. Your thoughts, or you thought, wow, this is so cool. The first time I learned how to sell things online, I had an epiphany. The first time I learned about the funnels, I had an epiphany. We've having these little aha moments all the time. The first time you discovered your expert topic, something happened that excited you. You had an emotional response that sold you on this new opportunity. It's like 14 years ago, I still remember when I found coaching the right like a career for me, or right even entrepreneurship for me. Do you remember what the experience was? Do you remember how you felt? Now, the first aha moment created so much excitement for you that you started on a journey where you started everything you could find about the topic. You started geeking out and going deep into the subject, learning all the terminology, right, this screen, and understanding the science and technical aspects behind why it worked. And then you became logically sold on a new opportunity. So this epiphany, it's also like a journey. Now at this point, you have had an emotional connection with the new opportunity, as well as a logical connection. It's like, then because you believe so much in what you are learning, you had a desire to share it with other people. But unfortunately for you, the first thing you try to do is logically convince everyone you know about this new idea. Okay, that's a mistake. Okay, mistake. Just like try to do is like logically convince everyone you know about this new idea. You probably expected them to be as excited as you were, but quite quickly found out that they were resistant to the new ideas. How has this ever happened to you? Right? The problem is that you started to speak a language we call technobabble. Technobabble, okay. Technobabble. One of my friends, Kim Slaver, wrote a book called If My Product's So Great, How Come I Can't Sell It? In it, she identifies technobabble as the #1 sales killer. That's very interesting, okay? And I use it another way. I would say like a lack of your niche, right? It's not a cool name. That's a great name, actually. Technobabble, but maybe there's some other ones, other name for that, so like a lack of your unique That's what I define like #1 business killer. It's really like a lack of a purposeful and profitable niche. And here they describe it as more like you feel like it's great, but it's not selling. Okay, it's like you try to use your logic to persuade other people. We all love ideas so much. The similar actually to what I call the #1 business killer, because you are passionate about yours, whatever you are doing, right? Your ideas, your new inspirations, but not everybody understand that. And you assume something, but maybe did not really clarify your niche yet. So that's why it's just like, it's your passion, but not necessarily your niche. because you're missing that component of great component of what that kind of a market. Who do they like really resonate and want your product? We want people to understand why they should follow us and use our products and services. But for some reason, as soon as we try to explain our beliefs to someone, we automatically start to spew the techno bubble we've learned in order to logically convince people to buy. I don't know why now human beings are become more and more logical. Don't you feel that? More and more logical. And I come from China, and Chinese people are so logical about it. And sometimes it's totally not logical. But the majority of the time they are thinking, but not so much connected to the emotions. Let's say we talk about why this concept is the best and potentially mention all the science behind what we do. We talk about how we are learning, we are leading the industry with groundbreaking, all these fancy words, right? Products. We share industry numbers and the jargon. Love this fancy presentation. Remember all this industry data, market data, and how competitive competencies is, right? All this kind of logical things, analysis. But all the logical stuff that is strengthened our own beliefs in the new opportunity will not help people buy unless they've actually had the same initial emotional epiphany that you had. That's true. All the logic, features, and benefits you gave people before the epiphany were just annoying them. It's frustrating and often completely offensive. There's a time and a place for logic, but you have to convince them emotionally first before they'll be excited by logic. That's like an epiphany itself, right? Okay, now think about it. You didn't buy into the new opportunity because of all the logical techno bubble. I don't know why they call it techno bubble. Bubble I can understand, but techno bubble. Why don't they call it like a passion bubble? Because you're passionate about it. You bought in because of logical bubble. Even logical bubble will make it easier to understand. Okay, you bought in because of let me drink more water. Say that happened before you geeked out. You had an epiphany first, and that caused you to move forward. People don't buy logically, they buy based on emotions. Okay, this word is super important. Remember that entrepreneurs, all the entrepreneurs, I should put a big mark here. People don't buy logically, they buy based on emotion. But actually, that's maybe a little bit exaggerating. And but sometimes people also buy logically. Depends on what kind of stuff, right? If I go for shopping for some things, just I need it. It's like functional things, right? There's no emotion. Okay, but here I understand Russell is talking about some big things, right? The services you're providing. Then they use logic to justify the purchase decision they've already made. Okay, so then they buy based on emotion, and then they use that logic to justify the purchase decision they've already made. For example, let's say I purchased a Ferrari. Ferrari is so popular with men, okay? I am emotionally invested in the feeling I want to have when I'm driving it. I just don't understand why men are so excited about a car. And another time I have another friend who's so addicted to his new, what's that called? Ford pickup car, kind of a very fancy red car. Okay, I should not mention it. But it's just like when they're talking about it, they have lights in their eyes, and they will compare with each other. I know, but they will visit each other's new cars and talk about how much you bought or when you bought, some features, right? And all of them will have that kind of excitement. I just, as a woman, I could not fully understand. I could understand other women, maybe they are fun. They get excited and light about the highlight, right? The shiny stuff for their jewelries, their fancy clothes, and because that's an emotion collected. I could not have emotion connection with cars, so sorry for me. Okay, but I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. Okay, okay, that's why I bought the Ferrari. or a big house, expensive clothes, watches, etc. But then I have to logically justify to myself, my friends, or my spouse why it was worth spending all that money. I have to explain how it gets better. Gas, mileage. It was on sale. It came with a great warranty. Logic is justification for the emotional attachment I've already made. Okay, so actually it's like logic is the second, emotion is the first. And they just want to use that logic to persuade themselves and their family to understand why they spend so much money on it. If you think about it, there is a status consideration on both sides of this equation. I'm emotionally attached to the status that the new Ferrari will give me. But then I need to justify it logically to my friends and family so I don't lose status in their minds. Oh, remember, yeah, previous day, I forgot, maybe one day earlier, 2 days ago, we read that part about the status. Remember, people all make the decision to buy something based on their status. So one status is about like the product bring to you directly. Another one is how that kind of impression you give to other people, right? But good luck selling me logically if I don't already have the emotional connection with that car. It's pretty much impossible. That's to me. Okay, I'm quite logical in buying stuff most time. And it need to be valuable. It makes sense. Very useful, practical. I do not buy just fancy, good looking stuff, but it's not very functional. In that part, I'm quite logical, very interesting. But in my coaching, I'm quite emotional. Funny, right? Okay, so logic doesn't sell, emotions sell. So to create those emotions, you have to go back and remember what it was that gave you the epiphany that caused you to believe in the new opportunity. That story, your epiphany bridge story, provides an emotional connection and bridges the gap from the emotional to the logical side. If you can tell a story about how you got your big aha, and if you structure the story right, they will have the same epiphany and will sell themselves on your product or service. Then they'll look for ways to logically justify the purchase and learn all the techno bubble on their own. Your job is to learn how to tell these stories in a way that will lead people to the epiphany and they will do the rest. For example, it's not easy to find those logics, right? Search online, find all those kind of now everything like those public things, right, are available online. So my first question for you is, what was your core epiphany bridge story that convinced you of the one thing you are sharing with others? For example, it's just like, I'm now doing abundance coaching. What's my core epiphany bridge story? That what I'm sharing with you is like valid and also like worth it, right? We'll worry about how to structure that story over the next 2 secrets. But for now, I want you to think back to the original experience that gave you your first epiphany that brought you on this journey. I actually have 2 epiphany. The first is how I shared that before, like how I lost my job with a Fortune 100 company as a performance director. And then I found the coaching is my true purpose and passion, and then get into coaching and also entrepreneurship. It's my first, emotional epiphany. The second one is actually through my marriage crisis and separation, and I fall into abundance through those countless nights of days and nights, darkest days and nights of the souls. And the suicide, how I resurrected, was saved by God and resurrected through that darkness. That's super really you cannot see any kind of light from it around, far away and around you. No hope during that time, and God just really saved me and transformed me into abundance person from desperation, from giving up my life to the new life. And this new coach and this abundance coach, right? It's really like, that's why I'm still calling my company since 14 years ago, still called Spring Magic Life Society. So there's still faith and hope there. So let's see. What's your core epiphany? So I have this two epiphany. I hope you could share your story as well. Do you remember what happened? What was happening around you? How did you feel? It's important to remember those details because they are the key to telling a good story. Effective storytelling. Have you ever noticed that the two people can tell the same story with completely different outcomes? That's true, right? In one, you are emotionally captivated and engaged. Then someone else tells you a story about the exact same experience and you fall asleep. What's the difference? What makes some people better storytellers than others? There are lots of reasons, but you don't have to know them all to tell a great story that gets prospects to buy. It only takes a couple of things to really make a captivating and interesting story. The first key to telling captivating story, I like this word, captivating. Normally we say like attractive, right? A compelling story or a transformative story is here is that the first key to telling captivating stories is oversimplification. When you are telling stories, you need to speak at about a third grade level. That will be a challenge for me, even though English is not my mother language, but in a third grade level, it's a little bit difficult for me to even figure out what is a third level degree. Okay, I learned my own, let's say, my college from elementary school to college education in China. So our expectations that you get to at least a bachelor's degree, right, and then master degree. The third grade level is a little bit difficult to imagine. Many of you will struggle with this because you like to use big words and show off your vocabulary and try to sound sophisticated and smart. That's true. Majority of us have that kind of a mindset, right? Even I could be bothered by this because I hate to be like other people thinking that I'm like a stupid, right? I hate that kind of like situation because I believe that I'm smart, I'm intelligent. And whenever people will like judge my intelligence or like, oh, you do not understand this, that would be like quite offensive to me. And that's my typical like Chinese person's pride or Chinese person's arrogance. It's no good, right? Because we had very like rigid, very rigorous kind of fundamental education. And that's why our like academically performance is great and people are logical and smart, right, like that. So they could easily get into that arrogance, think that we know a lot and we are smart, like that one, right? So I also get that kind of hint within myself. Sometimes I realize that, okay? But also I appreciate that the practical philosophy and coaching, abundance coaching in this like a Western world, I practiced this for so many years and discovered, and the more and more applied with myself, right, and grow in it. I really appreciate this part as well. It's like very practical, and make me myself humble as well. And sometimes it's very interesting. I just feel like myself, it's like sometimes like dancing within these two worlds. And sometimes I find my old let's say old, you can see tricks or whatever, like old things from China, or some things like I have that from US. So sometimes it's just a mix, and the majority of the time I feel like I'm a international global citizen. Okay. Let's see which one. There may be a time and a place for that, but it's not when you are telling stories. People are used to digest information at about a third grade level. When you go up, I believe that's in the US, is talking about. When you go above that, you start losing people quickly. There is a reason the news stations speak to their audiences at this level. Yeah, okay, so sorry for that. Apologize, not just for the US market. I think for all, generically, that's true. In China, if you really tell the story very too generic, too like I say, too advanced, you will lose audience as well. Similarly, right? For example, if like a PhD person is sharing those sophisticated, complicated concepts or whatever, everybody get bored. If those talk show people, right? Remember those comedians, why they attract people, make people fun and laugh and like, really like enjoy it, because they are telling stories at a very basic level. Okay, during the 2016 primary elections, a study looked at the speeches of the Republican candidates and ran them through the Kincaid test and shows the grade level of their speech. Trump averaged the 3rd to 4th grade level on each of his speeches, where other candidates like Ted Cruz had a 9th grade level, and both Ben Carson and Mike Huckabee were at an 8th grade level. Using big words may make you feel smarter, but it will not influence others. That's why Trump influenced others. He influenced a lot of people. His words is very simple and bold. But sometimes you have to talk about complex ideas. By the way, I think people still have hope. For example, Elon Musk, he speaks at a much higher level, and people still like him, right? Of course, when you get to the richest position of this whole world, right? Who would not like you? Majority of people will follow you, but you also get a lot of haters as well. Okay. But sometimes you have to talk about complex ideas. So how do you take a complicated idea and simplify it quickly? You do this using a tool I created called a Kinderlike bridge. Okay, this is another bridge. Kinderlike bridge. New concepts to what they understand. Oh, okay. This one, this is a great bridge. These two little persons go through this bridge. Like, no, what's this new concept? Something sounds like complicated, right? And then through this bridge, oh my God, this is like a kinderlike, become like a, let's say this side, lower level, 3rd level. Okay, what they understand. Because majority of people, education level is not so good. I know that there's some jokes about the geography, right? About the global geography, how many people know another country's name or another city's name. I created a they say Kinderlike bridge. Every time I run into a word or a concept that is past a 3rd grade level, I stop and think about how I can relate that concept to something they already know and understand. The same way I would try to explain complex ideas to my kids. That's true. But now my kids grow up, and now they are teenagers, 15 years old and 16 years old. That's difficult, right? For example, in one of my sales scripts, I was trying to teach a process called ketosis. I just found that Russell's favorite is ketosis. And his kitten, right? What's that kind of weight loss? Ketone. Oh gosh, they even give me that. Ketone, which is way to lose weight. That sentence right there was a mini Kinderlike bridge. Okay. Which is a way, okay, teacher, like a ketosis, too difficult words to understand. But if you explain it, which is a way to lose weight, everybody knows it, okay? In the sales script, I mentioned the word ketones, and I watched as the audience zoned out. How funny is that? He did that test. I discovered that if they don't know what a word means, they start paying attention to everything you say afterward. So I started using a Kinderlike bridge like this. The goal is to get ketones into your body. Now, what are ketones? Well, they are Kinderlike millions of little motivational speakers running through your body that give you energy and make you feel awesome. How fun is that? Little motivational speakers. Ketone initially, I'm not familiar with this word, but if you explain that little motivational speakers running through your body and gives you energy and make you feel awesome. And they're like, okay, so, but it's still like not quite clear, right? It's like motivational speakers, but I didn't know that it's a drink, it's something to drink. I take this new concept or word that people may not understand and add the phrase, it's Kinderlike. Okay. Through the sentence, I'm connecting the new word or concept to something they already understand, something that makes total sense to them. So they get it. My audience knows what a motivational speaker is, and they can imagine what it might feel like to have millions of little ones running through in their bodies. Actually, I would prefer to put some like energy kind of stuff, something. It's like I would use spicy, something like that. All this kind of little spicy food to get into your body, give you energy and make you awesome. Yeah. In that same script, I was trying to explain what it feels like to be in ketosis, and that's a hard thing to understand. It feels good, it feels awesome. So I had to take this concept and say, what you can do is describe how what kind of feeling is good and awesome, right? When you're in ketosis, it's kind of like the old, another kind of like, okay, underline it, the old video game, Pac-Man. Gosh, I just feel like I'm totally in different world from Russell's. Because whatever he used does not really resonate with me. Maybe more for the men, right? On hackers. So video game, because I'm not a video game player. Most ladies do it. Pac-Man, remember you spent the whole game running away from the ghosts. Gosh, that's what I hate. When I was a young kid, I thought people telling me all this kind of ghost kind of story and scared me to death for many, many nights. But every once in a while, you get a power net and suddenly you get tons of energy, and then you're actually chasing the ghosts, and you feel that's what it feels like to be in ketosis. That's good. That's actually good, right? And even though I do not play Pac-Man, but I can understand that, like, because that kind of game make you, if you chase ghosts, that could be scary, right? But now when you get energy, you are actually chasing the ghosts, and you feel okay. So that's gonna game running away. Oh, okay. Put on a contrast. Okay, that game is running away from a ghost. That means you are on fear, right? So scared. And now on a contrast, after keto, you are actually chasing the ghosts. You have such good kind of a fearless kind of a energy. That's wonderful. Okay. Again, I'm taking the concept that's vague and hard to understand and bridge it with something they do understand, using the phrase candlelight. Anytime you are speaking or writing and you hit a friction point, where some people may not understand what you're trying to convey, just say it's candlelight and relate it to something easy to understand. This keeps your story simple. That's true. So when you, next time you hit a friction concept, people don't understand, right? Use the candlelight, related to something easy to understand. Keep your story simple, entertaining, and effective. Oversimplification is the key. Oversimplification, make it easy for people to understand. Okay, let me say, oh my God. Even though there's only 2 pages, I still feel I want to stop here because it's quite long. It's a long day for me. It's like a late night already. Let me see how many pages I already read so much. So it's a good job. And everyone, will see you tomorrow. And by the way, tomorrow will be Mother's Day. We will have a special episode for Happy Mother's Day, okay? So let's keep reading tomorrow, even though it's a Mother's Day, I know, but we will have some special edition as well. Okay, everyone, have a good rest. Take good care.